Hello, I'm one of the respiratory therapists from Midwest Medical, and today we are going to go through how to set up and operate and use a heated humidity to trach system. Over here we have the heater and the IV pole. So you're going to have a water bag, either a 1 liter or a 2 liter water bag that you are going to hang from your IV pole. And that's just going to go right there. Okay, this is your heater. In your heater, you're going to have a chamber that is going to fit right on the top of the heater. Before you install your chamber, though, I want to show you your connection to your water bag. So there's a plastic disposable piece that will come off of your chamber. And your chamber is going to slide right in on the top of the heater. There's a little bar in the front that you push down and your chamber slides right in. The bar should pop up. If the bar doesn't pop up or it's crooked and the chamber is just sitting outside of it, it's not going to heat correctly. So always make sure that this is pushed in all the way. Okay. This chamber is self-feeding, and that's why you have the water bag. So what you're going to do is when you fill your water bag, you're going to twist the top off, and then there's a little spike that you're going to spike right into the water bag, and the water bag is going to hang from the pole. So if this was spiked in here, your water would be going through into your chamber. So the heater is going to be powered by an air compressor. So I'm just going to show you all the pieces that go onto the heater and how it connects to the compressor. But first I'm going to go through everything on the heater itself. So you have 2 ports on the top of your chamber, and they're the same, so it doesn't really matter which you put on what side. But on one of the sides you're going to have an adapter that's going to fit right on top of that port. And that is what is going to connect to this piece of tubing that's going to connect to your compressor. On the other side of your chamber, you're going to have an elbow that has a port for a temperature probe, and that's going to fit right in the top, just like that. Then next you are going to have some blue aerosol tubing. And the blue aerosol tubing typically comes in a large roll, and you're going to be cutting it to the length that you need for your heated humidity system. The aerosol tubing comes in sections, and if you take a look at it, you can see the different sections, and there's a middle part where there's almost like a little bubble. And when you're cutting this to length, you want to cut it right in the middle of that bubble. If you don't do that, everything won't fit together nicely. I've already had this cut, so I'm going to put one end of my blue tubing next to that elbow piece. Then the next thing I'm going to do is connect a drain bag. Now when you have the heated humidity system, you're going to have water collecting in your blue tubing. So you're going to have the water bag to collect the water. So what you'll want to do is you're going to want to connect another piece of blue tubing, aerosol tubing, to the other side of your water bag. When you have this on your patient, you're going to want the water bag to be hanging in a downward position so that the water can collect in the drain bag. Now there's a little port on the bottom that you can open up, and you can empty the water out of the bag. You can empty it in any kind of container. You just don't want the bag to get too full. The other thing that's important is that your bag is hanging in the down position, not up on the side or upside down, or else it's not going to do you much good. Then on the other end of your blue tubing, you have you're going to put your trach mask, which is going to go on your patient. You will have some water collecting in the tubing, but you will not see any type of mist or aerosol coming out the end of the tubing. You'll know that you're getting humidity though, because you will see some condensation and water collection in the tubing. Now sometimes you will have oxygen that's also ordered with your heated humidity system, and we will use this blue adapter to bleed the oxygen into that. So what you'll have is another piece of oxygen tubing that will connect to the port on the top of the blue adapter. You want to make sure and get that on nice and tight, and that will go next to this outlet where your air compressor. So that'll go right underneath there, and you'll have two pieces of tubing, one going to your air compressor and one going to your oxygen system. If you're not using oxygen, then you would just not have that piece in there. That would be an optional piece. So the next thing I'm going to show you is the air compressor itself. And the air compressor would sit usually on the floor. I have it up on the table now for demonstration purposes, but usually your air compressor would sit on the floor. So the other piece of tubing that we had on your air compressor adapter on the humidifier is going to connect onto this green piece, this little nipple adapter right on the front of your compressor. Now you want to make sure that your compressor as well as your heater are both plugged in to an outlet, to your wall outlet. Another thing about the compressor is it's drawing air in, and in the back of the machine there's a filter that needs to come out about once a week or whenever it looks dusty or dirty. You would take this out, you would wash it out under just under your tap water faucet. You would squeeze it out, let it air dry, and then you would put it back in. And that'll keep any dust or particles out of the compressor. Okay, on the front of your compressor, this is where your on-off switch is, which is down on the bottom. In the middle of that is your control to adjust your pressure. Now usually when we're running the heated humidity systems, we will run our compressors at 50 psi. And when this is turned on, you'll see the needle go all the way up to the top. Now, typically what we'll do to check what the pressure is set at is we'll remove your tubing, we'll block this green nipple adapter with a thumb or a finger, and we'll turn it on. If we need to adjust the pressure, we'll adjust it with the knob in the front. Now right now the knob is locked. If I pull out on this, it will unlock it, so I'll be able to adjust the pressure. So I would turn the compressor on, put my thumb over the air outlet, and then turn my knob until my pressure's right up at 50, which is right in the middle. Then I'll push it in and lock it, and I'll turn it off. I'm going to connect my hose back up to the machine. So those are the pieces of equipment that go with the heated humidity system. Usually what most of the time what you'll do is you'll change out all your disposables, and that is, if we go back to the humidifier, that's all of your tubing, your trach mask, your drain bag, all of the pieces including the chamber. Those will be changed every 1 to 2 weeks depending on what your protocol is. You'll throw that away and you will put on new supplies. You always want to make sure you have extra supplies, so when you're using it and as you're getting lower on those supplies, you need to make sure and give us a call to order some more. That also goes with the water, to make sure you're keeping track of how many water bags you have and how often you're going through them, so you can call us and reorder them. Couple other things I'm going to show you about the heater. So we're just going to go back and look at the heater again. Now the cord for the heater is right on the side. You're going to plug that into the wall. And the heater actually sits on your pole. There's a bracket that this just slides right down into. On the side of the heater, I'm going to turn this. There's your on-off switch is right on the side. And when you turn it on, there will be a light that will come on, a power light that will come on down in the bottom corner. And that light will always be on when it's turned on and it's plugged in and turned on. There's also a heat light that'll go on and off, and that will be to maintain the heat on the heater plate where your reservoir is sitting. Your control for adjusting your heat is right in the front, and you can adjust that anywhere to any of these numbers to whatever is comfortable for your patient, and adjust to how much humidity they need to keep their secretions moving so that they don't get dried out. And that can vary from client to client. So I'm hoping that will help you. If you do have any other questions that come up, please give us a call at Midwest Medical at 763-780-0100. Thank you.